Let's talk about Ethereum. You know it. It's the world's top dog for smart contracts. It's powerful, it's decentralized, but wow, as it got popular, it also got incredibly slow and super expensive. So today, we're going to dive into the story of one project that tried to fix this and, well, ended up building something way, way bigger. Come on, if you've been in the crypto space for more than 5 minutes, you've felt this pain. You find that one NFT you've just got to have, you go to click buy, and bam, the gas fee costs more than the art itself. It's a total buzzkill, right? You know, that fee isn't just some random number. It's the real cost of a network that's basically drowning in its own popularity. Think of it like a highway at 5 p.m. on a Friday. There are just too many cars, traffic grinds to a halt, and the price for that one open express lane, yeah, it's going to cost you. That was Ethereum's big problem. And that's where our story really kicks off. It's all about a team that looked at this massive digital traffic jam and didn't see a problem. They saw a huge opportunity. They started out with a pretty simple fix, but their vision, oh man, it grew into something so much more ambitious. Okay, so before we jump into the solution, we really need to get our heads around just how big this problem was. It got so bad people started calling it Ethereum's scaling crisis.
At the end of the day, the crisis really came down to these three things. You had DeFi, NFTs, and gaming all exploding at once, and suddenly, using Ethereum for just, normal stuff became almost impossible. The fees were just ridiculous, confirmation times were a joke, and the whole network felt like it was permanently stuck in mud. It was a classic case of being a victim of your own success.
So to fix this, a project originally called Matic Network popped up, and their first idea was just beautifully simple. They said, hey, what if we just build a brand new highway right next to Ethereum's clogged-up main road?
And this right here really gets to the heart of their thinking. The founders weren't trying to be an Ethereum killer, not at all. They loved its security, they loved its decentralization. Their whole goal was just to help it out, to give it the extra horsepower it so desperately needed. And they did this with something called a sidechain. So what is that? Well, it's basically a separate blockchain, but it's always connected back to Ethereum. Because it wasn't dealing with all of Ethereum's traffic, it could process transactions way faster, and for like a tiny fraction of a penny. And the best part, it was still compatible, so developers could just pack up their apps and move right over, no problem.
And wow, did it work! They launched back in 2017 using some early tech and a proof-of-stake model. By 2020, projects were just flooding in. DeFi apps like QuickSwap, NFT games like Avagachi, they all found a place where their users could finally breathe and make transactions without worrying about those insane gas fees. This simple sidechain idea was a huge, huge win.
But the story was nowhere near done. The team knew that even though their sidechain was a great fix for speed and cost, it wasn't the final answer. New frontiers, like real privacy and even tighter security, were becoming the next big things everyone was talking about. Look, it was a breakthrough, for sure, but it wasn't perfect. It came with trade-offs. The proof-of-stake sidechain had its own group of validators, which, by definition, is less decentralized than Ethereum's massive network. It didn't really do anything for user privacy, and for really high-value stuff, there were some potential security questions. The vision had to get bigger.
And this is the exact moment that Matic Network grew up and became Polygon. The goal wasn't just to be one sidechain anymore. The new goal was to be a whole toolbox for scaling Ethereum, a platform that could offer all different kinds of solutions for all different kinds of needs. And the key to this whole new vision, the tech that would really define Polygon's future, was something called zero-knowledge proofs. And trust me, this is where things get really, really cool.
So what in the world is a ZK proof? Honestly, the example on the screen is just perfect. Imagine you need to prove to a cashier you have enough cash for something, but you don't want to open up your wallet and show them your entire life savings. A ZK proof is the cryptographic magic that lets you do exactly that. It's a way to prove something is true without revealing any of the sensitive data behind it.
So Polygon uses this tech in something called a ZK-Rollup. Here's how it works. Instead of every single transaction hitting the main Ethereum highway, users send them over to Polygon first. Polygon then takes thousands of them and rolls them up into one giant batch. Then it creates one single, tiny ZK proof for that entire batch, and only that little proof gets sent to Ethereum.
Just look at this comparison. This shows you what a massive leap this was. With ZK-Rollups, you're not just relying on Polygon's validators for security anymore. You are directly inheriting the rock-solid, battle-tested security of Ethereum itself. That is a game changer. Plus, privacy is now built in by default, and transactions feel pretty much instant. It's just a huge, huge upgrade across the board.
Okay, so the tech is incredible, we get it. But what does it actually mean for us? For you and me as users or developers? What can we actually do with this?
The impact is absolutely massive. For DeFi, it means you can have confidential trading on top of those low fees. For NFTs and gaming, think cheap minting and having in-game items that are actually private. And for big companies, it gives them a secure way to manage something like a supply chain without having to blast all their sensitive data on a public blockchain.
And really, this is the bottom line. This is the whole point. By solving not just for speed and cost, but for privacy too, Polygon's technology makes the apps built on Ethereum actually usable for millions, and one day, maybe billions of people. This is how you pave the road for real, genuine mass adoption.
So where does the journey go from here? Well, the vision just keeps getting bigger. The goal now is a completely unified ecosystem, all running on this incredible ZK technology.
The next big thing on the horizon is the ZK EVM. This is kind of the holy grail. It combines all the power of ZK-Rollups with full 100% compatibility with the Ethereum virtual machine, which you can just think of as the engine that runs every single app on Ethereum. So this means developers can move their existing apps over to this faster, cheaper, more private world without having to change a single line of code. It's the best of both worlds.
And this all leads to the grand vision you see right here. A single, unified platform that offers crazy fast transactions, the top-tier security of Ethereum, and total privacy built right in. All of it serving the huge worlds of finance, gaming, and big business. What a journey! From a simple sidechain to a full-blown scaling ecosystem. Which really just leaves us with one last big thought. The story of Polygon is just a masterclass in evolution, right? It's a journey from fixing a simple traffic jam to designing a whole new kind of digital world. And it really makes you wonder, are we actually looking at the blueprint for a much more scalable and maybe a much more private version of the internet itself?